We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM today. Next chapter, third canto. Chapter 17. Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. Maitreya Uvach. Nishamyatma Bhuvagitam Karanam Shankayojita Tatah Sarve Nyavartanta Tri Divaya Divokasa. Sri Maitreya said, the demigods, the inhabitants of the higher planets, were freed from all fear upon hearing the cause of the darkness explained by Brahma, who was born from Vishnu. Thus they all returned to their respective planets. Because they were disturbed, so much darkness was there. Because demons are in the womb of Diti. Ditistu bhartur adeshat apatya parishankini purnavarsa shate sadvi putro prasu shuve yamo. The virtuous lady Diti had been very apprehensive of trouble to the gods from the children in her womb, and her husband predicted the same. She brought forth twin sons after a full 100 years of pregnancy. 100 years. Utpata Bhavas Tatra Nipetur Jayamanayo Divi Bhuvyantariksha Cha Lokasyoru Bhayavahah. On the birth of the two demons, there were many natural disturbances, all very fearful and wonderful, in the heavenly planets, the earthly planets, and in between them, that is Antariksha, between earth and heavenly, like middle place. Sometimes demigods, they have to go there. Sahachala Bhuvas Chelur Dishah Sarvah Prajajvaluh Solkash Chashanayah Petuh Ketavas Charti Hetavah. There were earthquakes along the mountains on the earth, and it appeared that there was fire everywhere. Many inauspicious planets like Saturn appeared, along with comets, meteors, and thunderbolts. Here is Swami Maharaj telling, when natural disturbances occur on a planet, one should understand that a demon must have taken birth there. In the present age, the number of demoniac people is increasing, therefore natural disturbances are also increasing. There is no doubt about this, as we can understand from the statements of the Bhagavatam. And human beings with their demoniac mentality, they are doing so many sins. Killing animals, killing human beings, cheating, stealing, so many sins. So nature has to take action to balance that. So this is all happening. Vavo, Vayuh, Suduh, Sparshah, Put, Karan, Irayan, Muhuh, Unmulayan, Nagapatin, Vatyaniko, Rajo, Dvaja. There blew winds which were most uninviting to the touch, hissing again and again and uprooting gigantic trees. They had storms for their armies and clouds of dust for their ensigns. Yes, here also at the end of this commentary, Sai Maharaj telling this assure all these so many natural this assure that such places are inhabited by demoniac people who are accustomed to all kinds of forbidden sinful activity. Udhasat tadit ambhoda ghataya nashta bhagane vyomni pravishta tamasa nasma vyadrishyate padam. The luminaries in the heavens were screened by masses of clouds, in which lightning sometimes flashed as though laughing. Darkness reigned everywhere, and nothing could be seen. Chukrosha vimana vardhir udurmich kshubhi todarach sodapanascha saritash chakshubuh shushka pankaja. The ocean with its high waves wailed aloud as if stricken with sorrow, and there was a commotion among the creatures inhabiting the ocean. The rivers and lakes were also agitated, and lotuses withered. Muhuh paridhayo bhuvan sarahvoh shashi suryayoh nirghata rata nirhrada vivarebyah prajagire. Misty halos appeared around the sun and the moon during solar and lunar eclipses again and again. Claps of thunder were heard even without clouds, and sounds like those of rattling chariots emerged from the mountain caves. Antar grameshu mukhato vamantyo vahnim ulbanam srigaloluka tankareh pranedur ashivam shiva. In the interior of the villages, she-jackals yelled portentously, vomiting strong fire from their mouths, and jackals and owls also joined them with their cries. Sangitavat rodanavat unamaya shirodharam Vyamunchan vividavacho grama simhastata. Raising their necks, dogs cried here and there, now in the manner of singing and now of wailing. Karascha karkashe kshata kureir gnanto dharatalam karkara robhasata paryadhavan varutashah. O Vidur, the asses, that is donkey, ran hither and thither in herds, striking the earth with their hard hoofs and wildly braying. There's a bad sign here, says. Rudanto rasabhatrasta nidat udapatan kagah Ghosheranya Chapashavah Shakrin Mutram Akurvata. Frightened by the braying of the asses, birds flew shrieking from their nests, while cattle in the cowsheds, as well as in the woods, passed dung and urine. Gavo trasan asrik dohas toyadach puya varshinach Vyarudan Devalingani Drumach Petur Vinanilam. cows, terrified, yielded blood in place of milk. Instead of milk, blood was coming out of fear. Clouds rained, puss, the images of the gods in the temples shed tears, and trees fell down without a blast of wind. The deities of demigods, they shed tears. Sometimes this is sin also. And trees fell down without a blast of wind. When some disciples, they told to Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj that how cows are mistreated here in Western countries, those who are giving milk, in so many ways. And then he told, they asked whether we can offer that milk, and he said no, because that is not a milk anymore. It is like a blood, because this is here written in Bhagavatam. When cow is so much frightened and tortured and all this, then instead of milk, she's giving blood. So cows should always be taken care of properly. Serving them, they should be happy. Grahan punyataman anye bhaganam shchapi dipita ati cherur vakragatya yuyuduscha parasparam. Ominous planets such as Mars and Saturn shone brighter and surpassed the auspicious ones such as Mercury, Jupiter and Venus, as well as number of lunar mansions. Taking seemingly retrograde courses, the planets came in conflict with one another. You see, all bad signs. Drishtvanyaṃ mahotpatan ata tattvavidah prajah Brahmaputran rite bhita menire vishwa samplavam. Marking this and many other omens of evil times, everyone but the four sage sons of Brahma, who were aware of the fall of Jai and Vijay and of their birth as deity sons, was seized with fear. They did not know the secrets of these potents and thought that the dissolution of the universe was at hand. Tau adi daityo sahasa Vyajya manatma paurusho vavridhate shma sarena kayenadri pati iva. These two demons who appeared in ancient times soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had steel-like frames which began to grow just like two great mountains. Devi sprisho hema kirita kotibhir niruddha kashto spurat angada bhujo gam kampayanto charaneih pade pade katya sukanchyarkam atitya tastatuh. Their bodies became so tall that they seemed to kiss the sky with the crests of their gold crowns. They blocked the view of all directions, and while walking, shook the earth at every step. Their arms were adorned with brilliant bracelets, and they stood as if covering the sun with their waists, which were bound with excellent and beautiful girdles. Nowadays, some demons, they also want to cover the sun on the pretext of so-called emergency of climate change. All this, they want to block the sun by certain chemicals. They want to put in the clouds. They already did put in clouds so that the sunshine cannot pass. So, because they want to do nonsense. What to do? Demons, that is their job. And always on the pretext of something good for the humanity. They're doing mischievous activities, destroying what is good. Prajapatir nama tayor akarshit yah prak swadehat yamayor ajayata tam vei hiranyakashipum viduh praja yam tam hiranyaksham asuta sagrata. Kashyapa Prajapati, the creator of the living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first, he named Hiranyaksha, and the one who was first conceived by Diti, he named Hiranyakashipu. Here Sai Maharaj is telling, there is an authoritative Vedic literature called Pinda Siddhi, in which the scientific understanding of pregnancy is very nicely described. It is stated that when the male secretion enters the menstrual flux in the uterus in 2 successive drops, the mother develops 2 embryos in her womb, and she brings forth twins in a reverse order to that in which they were first conceived. The child conceived first is born later, and the one conceived later is brought forth first. The first child conceived in the womb leaves behind the second child, so when birth takes place, the second child appears first, and the first child appears second. In this case, it is understood that Hiranyaksha, the second child conceived, was delivered first, whereas Hiranyakashipu, the child who was behind him, having been conceived first, was born second. Chakre Hiranyakashipur Dorbhyam Brahmavarena Cha Vashe Sapala Lokam Strim Akuto Mrityur Udata. The elder child, Hiranyakashipu, was unafraid of death from anyone within the 3 worlds because he received a benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to this benediction and was able to bring all 3 planetary systems under his control. Later in 7th Canto we are hearing about this. Hiranyaksho nujas tasya priyah priti krit anvaham gada panir divam yato yuyutsur mrigayan aranam. His younger brother, Hiranyaksha, was always ready to satisfy his elder brother by his activities. Hiranyaksha took a club on his shoulder and traveled all over the universe with a fighting spirit just to satisfy Hiranyakashipu. The commentary Saimar, the demoniac spirit is to train all family members to exploit the resources of this universe for personal sense gratification. Whereas the godly spirit is to engage everything in the service of the Lord. That is why that demoniac teaching given by Sanda and Tamarka to Prahlad was, this is our country, that is another country. These are our friends, they are enemies. So always this sort of hostile vision is there. And or like everything belongs to me, everything is for me, like they thought. So that is demoniac spirit. Nowadays, mostly this Rajoguna and Tamoguna is there. Rarely you will find some sattvic people, and those who are nirguna means gyanis, they want liberation, and devotees. So always there is sinful activities and fighting for material things. Everyone wants to exploit. Hiranyakashipu was himself very powerful, and he made his younger brother Hiranyaksha powerful to assist him in fighting with everyone and lording it over material nature as long as possible. If possible, he wanted to rule the universe eternally. For that, he made that tapasya. These are demonstrations of the spirit of the demoniac living entity. Tam vikshya duh saha javam ranat kanchana nupuram Vaijayantya srajajushtam amsa nyasta mahagadam. Hiranyaksha's temper was difficult to control. He had anklets of gold tinkling about his feet. He was adorned with a gigantic garland, and he rested his huge mace on one of his shoulders. Manovirya varot siktam asrinyam akutobhayam Bhita nilil yire devas tarksya trasta ivahaya. His mental and bodily strength, as well as the boon conferred upon him, had made him proud. He feared death at the hands of no one, and there was no checking him. The gods, therefore, were seized with fear at his very sight, and they hid themselves even as snakes hide themselves for fear of Garuda. Savai tirohitan drishtva mahasasvena daityarat sendran devaganan kshiban apashyan vyanadat brisham. On not finding Indra and the other demigods, who had previously been intoxicated with power, the chief of the Daityas, seeing that they had all vanished before his might, roared loudly. Tato nivritah kririsyan gambiram bhima nishwanam vijagahe mahasatvo vardim mata iva dvipa. After returning from the heavenly kingdom, the mighty demon, who was like an elephant in wrath, for the sake of sport, dived into the deep ocean, which was roaring terribly. Tasmin pravishte varunasya sainika yado ganah sonadhiya sasadva sa ahanyamana apitasya varchasa pradarshita durataram pradudruvuh. On his entering the ocean, the aquatic animals who form the host of Varuna were stricken with fear and ran far away. Thus Hiranyaksha showed his splendor without dealing a blow. Nowadays also they want to control by instilling fear. That is also in psychology, that if people are afraid, then you can control them. So they are making news in such a way, or even false news, but to make people afraid. Then they can control them and exploit them. So this is demoniac tactic. Sa varsha pugan udadho mahabalash charan mahor min chva saneritan muhu maur vyabhi jagne gadaya vibhavarim ase divam statta purim prachetasaha. Moving about in the ocean for many, many years, the mighty Hiranyaksha smote the gigantic wind-tossed waves again and again with his iron mace and reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna. Varuna is the god of sea or water. Tatro palabhyasur loka palakam yado gananam rishabam prachetasam smayan pralabdum pranipatya nichavaj jagada medehi adiraja samyugam. Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, lord of the aquatic creatures and guardian of the lower regions of the universe, where the demons generally reside. There Hiranyaksha fell at Varuna's feet like a low-born man, and to make fun of him he said with a smile, "Give me battle, O Supreme Lord." Commentary. The demoniac person always challenges others and tries to occupy others' property by force. Here these symptoms are fully displayed by Hiranyaksha, who begged war from a person who had no desire to fight. Yes, that is demoniac. You can find nowadays also this thing. Provoking and then accusing. So what to do? Demoniac. But all in the name of good. Tvam lokapalo dipatir brihashrava viryapaho durmada viramaninam vijitya loke khila daitya danavan yat raja suyena pura yajat prabho. You are the guardian of the entire sphere and the ruler of wide fame. Having crushed the might of arrogant and conceited warriors, and having conquered all the Daityas and Danavas in the world, you once performed a Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord. Sa evam utsikta madena vidvisha Dridam pralabdo bhagavan apam pati rosham samutam shamayan swayadhiya vyavochat ango pashamam gata vayam. Thus mocked by an enemy whose vanity knew no bounds, the worshipful Lord of the waters, vexed, angry, but by dint of his reason, he managed to curb the anger that had sprung up in him, and he replied, O dear one, we have now desisted from warfare, having grown too old for combat. In commentary, as we see, war-mongering materialists always create fighting without reason. That is true, we can see. Without reason, without good reason. They want to make money, they want to, so many things they want to do. Demoniac spirit. Pashyami nanyam purushat puratanat yah samyugatvam rana marga kovidam aradha yishyati asurar shabehitam manasvino yam grinate bhavadrishaha. You are so skilled in war that I do not see anyone else but the most ancient person, Lord Vishnu, who can give satisfaction in battle to you. Therefore, O chief of the Asuras, approach him, whom even heroes like you mention with praise. Commentary. Aggressive materialistic warriors are actually punished by the Supreme Lord for their policy of unnecessarily disturbing world peace. Therefore, Varuna advised Hiranyaksha that the right course to satisfy his fighting spirit would be to seek to fight with Vishnu. When the time comes, then Krishna stops disturbance. Tam viram arat abhipadya vismayah shayishyase virashayeshwabir vrita yastvat vidhanam asatam prashantaye rupani dhate sat anugrahe chaya. Varuna continued, on reaching him, means Supreme Lord, you will be rid of your pride at once and will lie down on the field of battle surrounded by dogs for eternal sleep. It is in order to exterminate wicked fellows like you and to show his grace to the virtuous that he assumes his various incarnations like Varaha. Is the end of this chapter. Chapter 18. The battle between Lord Boar and the demon Hiranyaksha. Maitreya Uvach. Tat evam akaranya jalesha bhashitam mahamanas tat viganaya durmada harer viditva gatim anga naradat rasatalam nirvivishe tvaranvitaha. Maitreya continued. The proud and falsely glorious Daitya paid little heed to the words of Varuna. Not listen. O dear Vidur, he learned from Narada the whereabouts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and hurriedly betook himself to the depths of the ocean. Dadarsha tatra bijitam dharadharam proniya mana vanim agradam shtraya mushnantam akshna swaruchoruna shriya jahasa chahovana gocharo mriga. He saw there the all-powerful personality of Godhead in his boar incarnation, bearing the earth upward on the ends of his tusks and robbing him of his splendor with his reddish eyes. The demon laughed. Oh, an amphibious beast. I want to see what is this word. Amphibious. It means able to live or operate on both land and water. The term can refer to animals such as frogs and toads that can live in both environments. Yes. Ahainam ehi agya mahim vimunchano rasaukasam vishva srijeyam arpita nasvasti yasyasi anaya mamekshata suradhama sadita sukha rakrite. The demon addressed the Lord. O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the low regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. Tvam nach sapatner abhavaya kimbrito yo mayaya hanti asuran parokshajit. Tvam yoga maya balam alpa paurusham sanstapya muda pramrije suhrichucha. You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us. And you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. O fool, your power is only mystic. So today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you. Tvai samstite gadaya shirna shirshani asmad buja chutaya ye chatubhyam. Balim haranti rishayo ye cha deva. Swayam sarvena bhavishyanti amula. The demon continued, when you fall dead, with your skull smashed by the mace hurled by my arms, the demigods and sages who offer you oblations and sacrifice in devotional service will also automatically cease to exist, like trees without roots. Sa tudyamano ri durukta tomareir dam stragra gam upalakshya bhitam todam mrishan niragat ambu madhyat graha hatah sakarenur yate bhah. Although the Lord was pained by the shaft-like abusive words of the demon, he bore the pain. But seeing that the earth on the ends of his tusks was frightened, He rose out of the water just as an elephant emerges with its female companion when assailed by an alligator. Here you see Earth. Mother Earth is a person, personified, Prithvi Devi. She was frightened, so to protect her, then because that was his target, to bring Earth out from the waters so that Brahma could put living entities there. Now, when he started creation, tam nih sarantam salilat anudruto hiranya kesho dviradam yata jasha karala damstro shani nisvano bravit gata hriyam kim tvasatam vigarhitam. The demon who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusks gave chase to the Lord while he was rising from the water, even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Roaring like thunder, he said, "Are you not ashamed of running away before a challenging adversary? There is nothing reproachable for shameless creatures." Sagam udastat salilasya gochare vinyasya tasyam adadhat swasatvam abhi shtuto vishwasrija prasuner apuryamano vibudeh pashyatore. The Lord placed the earth within his sight on the surface of the water and transferred to her his own energy in the form of ability to float on the water. While the enemy stood looking on, Brahma, the creator of the universe, extolled the Lord, and the other demigods rained flowers on him. Paranu Shaktam Tapaniyo Pakalpam Mahagadam Kanchana Chitradam Sham Marmani Abhikshnam Pratudantam Du Ruktei Prachanda Manyuh Prahasam Stam Babhasha. The demon, who had the wealth of ornaments, bangles, and beautiful golden armor on his body, chased the Lord from behind with a great mace. The Lord tolerated his piercing ill words, but in order to reply to him, he expressed his terrible anger. Shri Bhagavan Uvach Satyam Vayam Bho Vana Gochara Mriga Yushmat Vidhan Mrigaya Grama Simhan Na Mrityu Pashaih Pratimuktasya Vira Vikatha Nam Tava Grihnanti Abhadra. The personality of Godhead said, "Indeed, we are creatures of the jungle, and we are searching after hunting dogs like you. One who is freed from the entanglement of death has no fear from the loose talk in which you are indulging, for you are bound up by the laws of death." Ete vayam nyasa hara rasaukasam gata hriyo gadaya dravitaste tishtamahet hapi katanchit ajo steyam qua yamo balinot padya vairam. Certainly, we have stolen the charge of the inhabitants of Rasatala and have lost all shame. Although beaten by your powerful mace, I shall stay here in the water for some time, because having created enmity with a powerful enemy, I now have no place to go. Tvam pat rathanam kila yutha padhipo gatasva no swastaya ashvanuha samstapya chasman pramri jashru swakanam yah swam pratigyam nati piparti asabhyah. You are supposed to be the commander of many foot soldiers, and now you may take prompt steps to overthrow us. Give up all your foolish talk and wipe out the cares of your kith and kin by slaying us. One may be proud, yet he does not deserve a seat in an assembly if he fails to fulfill his promised word. Maitreya Uvac. So dikshipto bhagavata pralabdascha rusha brisham ajaha rol banam krodham krityamano hi rat iva. Sri Maitreya said, the demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Srijan amarshitah shvasan manu prachali tendriya asadya tarasadaityo gadaya nyahanat dharim. Hissing indignantly, all his senses shaken by wrath, the demon quickly sprang upon the Lord and dealt him with a blow with his powerful mace. Bhagavan stu gada vegam visrishtam ripunorasi avanchayat tiraschino jogaruda ivantakam. The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged the violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death. Before, in my young age, I like to see movies of fighting, the kung fu fighting, all those movies. And then later also I was training that. So Gurudev knew everything about me because he's personal associate of Krishna. So once I think it was in Mumbai, he was explaining this fight between Varaha and Hiranyaksha. To clear those previous things, because this is Lila of Bhagavan, of fighting. So if one is attracted to fighting, then he should hear this. And this is also I learned in my training about dodging. You have to move to the side. No need to block everything. You can move. So here all fighting style is also described. Punar gadam svam adaya pramayantam abhikshnashah abhya dhavat dhari kruda Samrambat, Dashta, Dachadam. The personality of Godhead now exhibited his anger and rushed to meet the demon, who bit his lip in rage, took up his mace again, and began to repeatedly brandish it about. Tatascha Gadaya Ratim Dakshinasyam Bruvi Prabhu Ajagne Satu Tam Soumya Gadaya Kovido Hanat. Then with his mace, the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. But since the demon was expert in fighting, O gentle Vidur, he protected himself by a maneuver of his own mace. Evam Gadabhyam Gurvibhyam Haryaksho Harir Evacha Jigishaya Susamrabdho Anyonyam Abhija Gnatuh. In this way, the demon Haryaksha, another name, and the Lord, the personality of Godhead, struck each other with their huge maces, each enraged and seeking his own victory. When I was seeing those movies, it was not that I liked the violence, but I liked the art of fighting. So also when I was training that, also I was doing in a way of art. That is why sometimes the Japanese teacher, he told me, you hit him there more hard, but then he himself understood that I did not want. Then he said, yes, because you have a good heart. So I was doing as an art, like choreography, like this, not as wanting to hurt someone. Only I like the art. So also when Srila Bhakti Vichar Vishnu Maharaj once came to our one class, that training session, when I was showing and then others were showing, then later Vishnu Maharaj told me, you were doing like dancing, but others really had some that hostility. He noticed also. Only one verse I will read. Tayoh sprido stigma gada hatangayoh kshatasrava grana vivrida manvyoh vichitra margam charatur jigishaya vyabhat ilayam iva shushminor mrida. There was keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blows of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of blood on his person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow. So this is just the beginning. It will come more. So tomorrow we will hear about Sita Thakurani. If there will be some more time, then we can continue this fighting Lila. This can purify our heart to hear this.